Angelina Stefankiewicz is the proud mother of 3 teen boys, Gabriel, 19, George, 17, Samuel, 14, a baby girl, Autumn Rose, 9 months, and a stepdaughter, Mara, 7. A pianist all her life, Sharon has been in the pit of many shows and community theater all over the region, including Fiddler on the Roof, Cabaret, and The Producers. She is most thrilled to be making her first onstage appearance here tonight. A former childbirth educator, she is an advocate for natural birth and attachment parenting. Sharon's piece is titled, Mama's Home Now.
A therapist once asked me what my life passion is. Why am I here on this planet? And I said, I'm a mother. I feel it to my core, especially here in my body. I have a scar on my belly about 8 inches below my navel. I feel really beat up there. When I was in my mid-30s, an acupuncturist told me my hormones were off. Be careful, he said, you'll go into early menopause. He saw why. He said, your motherhood has been under attack for so many years. Look at your posture, the way you stand with your pelvis tucked under, like you're protecting that area. He was right. I have 3 teenage boys, all born at home. I also have a little girl, born by C-section. They're all why I'm here, because now I can talk about it. My motherhood has taken a beating, but I can finally talk about it. And you may think, oh, it's the C-section, but that's not it. In 1995, the life I had known and counted on came to an end. My marriage to my high school sweetheart fell apart. My little toddlers and I were thrust out on our own. Gone was my comfortable lifestyle of stay-at-home mom. Gone was the marriage security blanket that felt like home to me. I was devoted to creating a life for our children with my husband off the grid. A big organic garden, some chickens, some goats, land in the country. But with the divorce came a deep anger and rejection from this person I had called partner. Husband and provider became enemy and persecutor. What had been security became threat. I became a pariah. I carried on with my babies the best I could, but I had to get a job and leave them with a sitter. That was so hard. From the day they were born, I nursed them, I carried them in slings next to my heart. I had never left them for more than a few hours. I had to learn to cope, too, when their dad would take them for alternating weekends. But the whole time, I couldn't wait for their return. They were my life, my babies. Things weren't the same, but they were still my greatest joy. I had to give up my dream of organic living in the country, but I had my babies with me. So, in 1999, I filed a standard petition to increase child support. Then their father counterfiled for custody. My lawyer sat in her office and smoked and shouted, "How does he think he can get away with this? What are you doing that he can throw at you?" Nothing. I said, nothing. But my head was spinning at the thought of it, and I began my downward slide into fear and panic. No way to fight a custody battle. He had hit my Achilles heel, my life with my children. We had been fighting over various details about them, little things, but not to the point where I ever dreamed he would try to take them from me. I gathered all my savings, got some help from my family, and proceeded with the custody fight. They call it a fight, but it's like punching at the waves in Lake Michigan. In custody cases, they do a psychiatric evaluation. When I began that evaluation process, which sort of feels like seeing a counselor, my attorney told me, just tell her whatever she asks you, answer her questions. Unless he has some terrible secret against you, there's very little chance he can just take them from your home. So I tried, hard. I was scared. I talked to this psychiatric evaluator for hours, spoke of my love for my children, confessed honestly about my beliefs and my dreams for them and about why my ex and I had broken up. She wouldn't come to my home. So I brought in photo albums full of pictures of birthday parties, craft projects with the kids, our house, the beautiful neighborhood, and sat there with it on my lap as she told me she didn't have time to look at all that. I explained how I took my kids to town council meetings so they could learn about their local government. I enrolled them in park and library programs. Everyone on our block knew them by name. Wrong lawyer, ill advice, common myth, bad preparation, and an evaluator who had her mind made up at the beginning of the whole process for reasons known only to her. In the end, the custody evaluation read that although Sharon is a good mother, their father could provide more structure, more routine, a better lifestyle. And it recommended full legal custody. Go to him. My trial got cut short. I was broke. I was legally advised to let them live with their father under a new parental agreement, one which stated that we should share legal custody, but in anything we couldn't agree on, he would get the final say. In other words, he got full legal custody. I got visitation. I lost. In fall of 2001, my little boys moved away. I can't describe the secret meltdown that followed. I put on my bravest face to the boys, and as cheerfully as possible, I told them that their dad needed to have a turn with them. Why, I'd had them for 8, 9 years. Their dad missed them. It was his turn. They knew there might be some changes before this, but when the full impact of the situation hit them, they clung to me and cried. Every time a visit was over and they had to return to their dads, I would hug them, fake a smile, wipe away their tears, and say, "Oh, come on, it's okay. I'll see you soon." Then I'd close the door behind them and pace in front of their empty beds, sobbing. I'm an adoptee with my own issues, and as a girl, I suffered the death of a parent, but I never could have anticipated the torture of prolonged separation from my children. I had read to them and tucked them in every night. We walked to school every day, had family dinner together every evening. I packed their lunches, played with them, lived for them. More structure? I didn't give them enough what? Routine? Enough community involvement? Enough clean clothes, home-cooked meals? That's all I lived for, was to do these things for them. Every day, that and to just live with them, love them, hug them every day, listen to their little hurts and fights, put Band-Aids on their knees, tell them jokes. We had a peaceful life on a quiet street in a small, safe town in a cute little Cape Cod located between the library and a big park. They were taken from their community to live on a golf course with no streetlights and no sidewalks. Their father had money, a lot more money than me, a bigger house, a better job, and I found out later, from him, the ability to lie about me. I learned that being a good parent with a clean, safe home isn't enough to keep custody. Most fathers don't fight the mother for custody because, frankly, they're working a lot and they don't have time to care for the kids as well. Many dads I've talked to said the kids are more attached to mom anyway. Yeah. In my case, he kept working his full-time job. I worked part-time and was always home by the time they got home from school. After 2001, I came home to an empty house. For months afterward, I couldn't talk to anyone. I felt many people looking at me sideways, and I felt the unspoken judgment. She must have done something. The courts don't just take kids from a good home. I did do something. I panicked. What I didn't do, I didn't fight hard enough, didn't get a good enough lawyer, didn't make enough money. I believed justice would win, and I played fair. I was naive, trusted the legal process, trusted the evaluator. I failed to protect my children from a devastating life change in their lives, a change that was uncalled for. My little guy is only 8 and 9.5 years old. That's the bottom line. I failed them. Everything happens for a reason, right? But it still hurts to this day. It's time lost that we can never get back. It's time lost. When the World Trade Centers were coming down on 9/11, other moms hugged their kids after school and talked with them. I had to wait until the weekend to see mine. You understand what I mean? Does everything happen for a reason? If you ever find yourself having to fight for your kids, fight hard. And love them with everything you've got, because there are no guarantees. I've been a mother desperate to heal, to fix a disaster that is unfixable. I tried for a long time to reconstruct some semblance of family and home. I never wanted to spend another summer like that of 1995, alone and depressed. Then in 2001, I really got punched in the gut. I got stabbed. I was robbed. Meanwhile, over a decade, my little ones have grown up. I've watched them be carried forward by the incessant and merciless march of time. My heart stopped in the fall of 2001, but life has carried my body onward, with glimpses of joy coloring the gray tones like an old painted photograph. I searched for a lasting partner, trying to rebuild what was lost. And each time I was disappointed, always having to compromise. Forget the organic garden. Forget being a stay-at-home mom. I was on autopilot in survival mode. And it's hard to teach your faith to your kids when you only see them every other weekend. 10 years, I've walked under a load of guilt and regret. My heavy load made me stagger off my path. I traded my dreams for depression and feelings of failure. My boys suffered with me, watching their mama fight, moving from one rental to another, trying to find a better home, the right partner, another job. Then one day, it hit me. No one forced me to give up all I had dreamed of. My ex-husband encouraged my despair, but I swallowed the poison voluntarily. What am I doing? No more. I realized finally that a 10-year sentence is enough. And now I'm releasing myself from this prison of my own regret. I've laid down my depression. I've spit out that poison, the guilt, and I've thrown down the weight of failure, and I've picked up my dreams. And then I married again, a man I trust, who appreciates my womanhood and honors my motherhood. Take heart, my babies. You don't remember your mama much before she was depressed and lost, but I'm not lost anymore. I'm strong again. I am the woman who labored and birthed you, who held you and nursed you, and cherished you every day of your lives. We were together every day, even when we missed each other. I'm sorry for what went wrong, boys, but Mama's home now.